Hello and welcome back to the TheShiftyLewzer sim racing adventure Assetto Corsa Competizione here on Two Rogue Gamers. Well, as promised, this time, well, it's a difficult one. I'm racing without the ideal line on. I said I'd do it at Spa, and I'm a man of my word. A man of the kingdom is a man of his word. So you'll see, I'm going to jump straight into the qualifying session. There you go, you look, all of the HUD, none of the ideal line. I chose Spa because I know it quite well. I don't want to hide that from anyone. This was definitely the circuit of choice for me. Now I am going to continue to do it without the racing line simply because, well, it saves me a load of time getting the edit. Not this video, obviously. 3-hour endurance race. 3 hours. I've got it on the shortest setting. You can't even save it halfway through the race. That was insane. I did it anyway though, without the ideal line. Now I don't want to lie, throughout practice, not necessarily practice, I was okay. I was just getting used to the circuit without the line on, you know, choosing my braking points and whatnot. Anywho, during the 3 qualifying sessions, in the first 2, the only lap I got in was in fact the last lap as the timer was going down, so they weren't very good. I do feel that I end mid-pack. I have shown the entire qualifying lap from Q3. This is the sleazy politician, you know, Prini Patel, doing this lap. But I wanted to show it all, just to show I have in fact done it without the ideal line on. Now the race itself, obviously, I'm not showing the full 3 hours, that would have been insane. Trying to encode that video in 1440p, well, that would have taken my entire life, so, you know, I have cut it down. I didn't realise, with it being an actual 24-hour race, but obviously cut down into a smaller segment for the short race setting, it does go from day to night and then back to day again. The change in the sunlight and the shadow direction and the way that the light was shining at you through certain corners was fantastic. Sadly for me, I started using some of the shadows as braking points. Swiftly learned that was a mistake, of course. Anywho, I haven't told a joke yet. It's my new thing. I've decided to tell a joke at the start of every video. On the Formula 1 video that went up earlier, over on Less Than Mark, I used a cow joke, so I'm going to stay in that vein. So here we go, let's have it. Why does a milking stool only have 3 legs? Because the cows have the udder. Another classic. Anywho, coming towards the end of the lap now, you can see I am bounding around and I do stick to the line quite well, even though it's not there. If anything, I found it easier. I wasn't trying to stick to a line, I was choosing my own braking points and pushing my own limits and my own barriers. I felt empowered. That's how I felt. But anywho, here we go. Look, not a particularly bad lap from the sleazy politician there. Not a bad lap. Got in there. That was one of the first as well, so I didn't show the rest. I didn't better that. So I do just skip along to the end of it now, and we'll jump straight into the race. But as you can see, the combined time put me, you know, at the high end of the centre of the pack. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm quite pleased. I'm in the top half. For the first race without the ideal line on, I know I keep saying it, but I'm very proud of myself. Very proud of myself. Well, here we go. The incorrect queuing. Still haven't changed the speed to the correct miles. Still using Euro miles, as you'll see. Just checking out there, I had changed a few settings on the wheel just to add a bit more force feedback. It seemed to help as I was guiding myself around this circuit. The circuit is quite bumpy, and some of those bumps do give a nice telltale sign about what to do. It's I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. 3 hours long though, that was obscene. You know, absolutely obscene, but I would have preferred it if I could save partially through, like you can on the F1, you can save it at any point and come back to it. But the fact to do 3 hours, the file just for the recording was huge. There was no chance I could have done this as a replay anyway, even if the replay settings do allow me to turn it back to full. There's no way, that would have been, you know, hella. To do 2 camera angles on that as well would have equated to around, and I'm not joking, the recording of just the race, was over 70 gigabytes. Now just imagine that's insane, but you know, I do it for you, the audience. I have done it in 1440p at the highest bitrate I could possibly fit. The only other file setting I could have had it saved at on my computer from the recording, it described the file size as, and I'm not joking, on OBS, it describes the file size as tremendous. Tremendous. What a great word. Now I don't even want to test that. That sounds like it could just ruin my machine completely. I don't want to put it through its paces. I do want to, of course, I'm just nervous about it. So I'm using the setting just beneath that where it says the quality is indistinguishable. Well, in that case, let's choose that. Why use the tremendous file size if we could just use a huge one? I mean, I understand the definition of huge or massive, but I can only imagine that the thing that comes above massive is tremendous. and that's such a tremendous word. So good, so good. Now this corner on the circuit, this is where I struggled the most, just getting the actual entrance to the corner. If you overshoot it slightly, that happens. You take it wide, you take it slow, and some other fucker just slips right in there. Slips right in. Now, not a bad first lap. I am in fact going to show the entire first stint, and then I'll skip towards the end, because after the first stint, well, a lot did happen, but over a very, very protracted period, and honestly, I couldn't be bothered sifting through the entire thing. So I show the entire first stint. When I did pit in, I didn't fully understand the rules. I didn't change the driver, sadly. I went back out as the TheShiftyLewzer. However, I did figure this out before the end of the race in good time. In good time. Don't worry about that. So I did switch, possibly about by the fourth stint. I realised that I was sticking to the same driver and had to make changes, which is what I did, and I'm sure the sleazy politician had a nice stint out there before the creepy wizard took a turn. But once I got it, it was all very good. But the pits on this are insane. Like, the amount of distance throughout the pits, it takes about a minute and a half to do the entire, just the driving, never mind the 40 seconds sat there doing fuck all. I show it anyway, because obviously I use the pits as the shout-out time. So those of you that are waiting for a shout-out, you know, a bit of patience, friends. Once we go into the pit at the end of the first stint, you can see the timer, you know, counting down in the top left. It's the bottom number there, that's the stint. I have to pit before the end of that time. It's 12.5-minute segments, perhaps because of the sheer fucking length of the actual pit lane itself, but we're still driving past it at full pace, and that took an eternity. The exit from the pits, however, is remarkably good fun. Remarkably good fun. But as I was saying earlier, I show the entire first stint, then I cut to the second to last stint, where it's at night time, and then I show the entire last stint itself, just so you can see what happened there. You know, no spoilers, but I definitely watch. There's a twist to this tale. But I do want to say, I spent the majority of the race, I mean, it doesn't look like it right now, but in first place. I'm not sure how I would have fared with the old scoring in the top right there. As you can see, it scores for various things, including safety, and I do feel that I nudge a few people out of my way. I'm sick of being bullied, so we are becoming the bully again. Not a full bully, we're just even more unforgiving than we were before. Now, sadly, the car that took me out in the last race qualified really remarkably poorly, and we haven't fallen that far back in the pack, so we probably won't even see them. If it comes to lapping them, I'm not sure. Do I sacrifice our race position and our race time, you know, and risk all, just to wipe out the fucker that fucked us up in the last race? Remember spinning us on corner 1, back at Paul Ricard, absolute fucking disgrace. Anywho, I'm getting wound up thinking about it. I'll get back to the happiness. As you can see, still bounding around the track, and that was the one corner where I did have trouble, other than, you know, in terms of actual accuracy. Now, I did get the apex quite a lot. The problem with that, just over the curb was a gravel trap, just a narrow gravel trap, and if you caught that, it threw you into the main gravel trap, like what happened there. And if you don't gear down quick enough, you just can't find your way out. Now, I do like the rules of GT3 with the green patches next to the curbs. For the unaware, you can go onto the green patch, it's just none of your car can come off it. If that happens, you get a penalty, but look how much of it there is. GT3 drivers just standard cutting corners, trying to get the fastest exit possible. Now, I did like this sweeping left-hander. When I had the ideal line on, I wasn't very good with it, because I did have a quick, you know, blast around the circuit. I wanted to, you know, at least remember it slightly. I know it very well from F1, but F1, like with all circuits, on F1 it races completely different. The speed difference is unbelievable. The rate at which you change through gears is remarkable as well. Now, one thing that I do want to point out that will happen in this video, there is in fact going to be, you know, various sections where I do not speak. I want you to enjoy the actual race footage itself and the music in the background. Once again, thanks to my friend I Am a Car for the tunes. The main one that you'll hear it quite a lot, known as Death of the Dynamo. That fits very well with a you know, simulation about combustion engines. They really were the death of the dynamo. Although the dynamo is a great feat of engineering. It's effectively harnessing kinetic energy, and I like that stuff. I like it quite a lot. Very much so. It's almost like Formula 1 adopted that for the KERS system and then moved on to the ERS system. All very weird. I believe KERS was kinetic energy recovery system, and then when it stopped, you know, just recovering kinetic energy and started to collect heat and braking forces and things like that, then it just became the energy recovery system. So ERS, very annoying to say the least. Now, as I said, I do get into first position at some point in this race, and what was remarkable about it is, I'm not sure how, it all just seemed to happen. I accept that there are 3 drivers per team. Now, I'm trying to consider, is one of those drivers an amateur? Do you have like a high-end professional, a mid-range professional to low-end professional, and then an amateur? That's the third one. If that's the case, then it kind of stands to reason as the drivers are changing over at the end of the stints. Bear in mind, when we come back out, we're the same person we are all the time, so there's no difference in consistency, we're exactly the same. There's no various driver traits that I can recognise. It's not like, the sleazy politician has a different way of accelerating or braking or does it any better than the TheShiftyLewzer or the creepy wizard. So it stands to reason, as their lower quality drivers came out, it made the game slightly easier for us, so we just kept bounding on, and eventually we do end up in first. I'm not even kidding with this, I know it doesn't seem like it at the moment, but anywho, as I was saying, I'm going to back away for a little bit, just to let you enjoy the race. I'll come back when it gets to the pit stop, just so we can, give those shout-outs that you're all waiting so longingly for. I fully appreciate that. So that's the way that we'll go. Well, enjoy the racing, enjoy the music, all of it combined, especially without the racing line. The scenery looks fantastic. And I have recorded this, like I say, in the highest bitrate I could at 1440p, so those of you that have, the monitor and the graphics card that compare that, please do enjoy it. For those of you that are unsure, just as you're watching this, go down to the bottom right hand corner of the YouTube screen there, the player, you'll see a cog. Click on the cog, and then click resolution or quality, I'm not sure what it calls it as. That'll bring up a list. If the top of that list is 1080p, then, unlucky, work harder, earn more, get better stuff. However, if you are one of the people that works hard and earns more, then you will already have the good stuff. Just click it there. Can you see it where it says 1440p? Click that. The quality is outstanding. Outstanding. I did it all for you. The audience, YouTube. Are you listening? The audience. I know. Right, guys, I'll be back to you shortly. Well, here we are, back to the pit lane, as promised. Come back for a chat with you all. As you can see, my entrance to the pit was absolutely appalling, but that was the first time I'd driven in. Even through practice, I just skipped back to the garage. Now, at this point, I thought I had to slow down earlier than I did. Remember, we used to get all the penalties in the pits for constantly speeding there, so now I'm very, very overcautious. Well, that's the way to be, isn't it? I mean, like I said earlier, look at the length of this pit lane, and trust me, all of these buildings, that's only the first half of it. You have to drive past way more than this just to get out, but the exit is brilliant. But look how many cars are in there at the similar time to us, of course, coming to the end of the stint. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, I didn't actually really do anything. I think I added a bit more fuel, but I didn't change the driver. I'm not even sure I added more fuel. I think I just changed the tyres. And I'm not even sure if it does that, to be perfectly honest with you, because it always says tyre set 3. Now, either way, they lasted quite a while. Now, further in the game, I do change them to 4, just out of sheer curiosity, but that felt like it was a harder compound. I'm not into... I need to learn the rules. I've been trying not to. I'm trying to learn it from just from playing the game itself. But anyway, we're in the pits. On with the shout-outs. On with the shout-outs. First and foremost, the Yorkshire hero, Jamie Smith Gaming. This one of the same. 2 fantastic channels. Do get over there and have a watch. Yeah, if you like the VR, he has some VR games up on Jamie Smith Gaming. I'd definitely go over there and give them a view. They're absolutely fantastic. And the Yorkshire hero stuff is great. The footage of him just riding around the UK, all the old buildings. Those of you across the pond, well, you've probably never seen such history. I'd definitely get on there and give it a watch. History by way of a motorcycle. Fantastic. Fantastic. And Wakas Hussain, carrying on with the FIFA, true to his word, true to form, and FIFA 20 is coming up soon, guys. You need to be on that channel, get subscribed, get notifications set up, get ready for it. He'll give you all the information, all of it. And don't forget to go over to Less Than Marv. Today dropped The Walking Dead, another great show. Mama Sloth really making some bad decisions, I will say. However, it's made for a very entertaining show. A story game, and by God is it a story. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. As you can see now, I cut to the end of the pit. Came out in the darkness. That's what we did there. So as it's setting, this isn't as dark as it gets. Now I do cut a little bit through the stint, but if you look to the top left, you will see, my friends. You will see first position. Been there for quite some time. If you'll divert your attention down somewhat to the bottom left, you'll see there just how far in front we are. That's right, friends. I had an absolute fucking blinder. The centre part of this race was I was in control. Hit every apex. Very rarely went outside of the lines. Now, I believe I do have some penalties, potentially so. But my safety, I feel, has been very good, especially compared to usual, given how long this race is going on for. At this point, we are a good hour and 50 minutes in. I'm not fucking around. Well, where are you? You can see on the clock there, it's counting down from 3. Now, as I say, I'm having to do this in 1/8 quality. I do still need the new processor. However, Intel look like they're releasing Ice Lake soon. I mean, that's already been shipping for the mobile units. By mobile units, of course, I mean laptops, not the mobile phones. Now, if they're ready for laptops, how long until desktop? Come on, Intel, give us a clue. I need to know. Should I upgrade now, or shall I wait for the new stuff? And what is that new stuff going to come with? Do I need a new chipset to run it on, or are you going to be kind? Are you going to be kind to us and still do it on 1151? You know, don't be arseholes. Don't be arseholes. I don't want to upgrade processor and motherboard. You know, so shortly after upgrading my motherboard so I could overclock the 8700K, which I've done, by the way. We're going well off topic. Well off topic. We haven't even mentioned the politics, guys. The politics has not been mentioned yet. What a fucking travesty. Well, travesty is the word, by the way. UK politics right now. Absolutely just shit. Absolutely shocking. We've got Parliament, even though they're not there. They're on holiday, trying their best to circumvent Prime Minister Johnson. Effectively saying they're going to have a vote of no confidence. The chap hasn't even had time yet, so how you can do that legitimately is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. And that runs a risk. Because at that point, if that did pass, he would have to call a general election, which of course he will do after October the 31st, so he will still leave the European Union, I have no doubt. However, opening the door to Nigel Farage to run, well, fuck me sideways, it's like they don't know. The people in charge of this country are absolutely fucking stupid at this point. I don't understand how you can't understand risk to the most basic level. Nigel Farage, even if he doesn't become Prime Minister, which he probably wouldn't, let's be perfectly frank, but just having a voice in actual Parliament, I can't get over this. I can't understand that this is where we are. Absolute travesty. Absolute fucking travesty. Anywho, back on the racing, there's no point going massively into politics. Like I say, they're all abroad, and the European Union says it won't budge with its negotiations over the backstop, so fuck them. It's just going to be, simply wasting time now until Halloween, where we can all have a big party. I think I'm going to go dressed as a European flag, but with not enough stars. That might be what I do. Fuck them. Not really, that's disrespectful. I like the European people. I've spent a lot of time on the continent of Europe. Very much like it. The French, fine people. Love northern France, love the Alps in general. All across, many countries across Europe the Alps run. Into Italy as well. Italy's a fine place. Very unique country. Very unique. But northern France is like my second home. I very much like it. Very much like it. Anywho, back on the racing. I am going to take a break again, a bit of a backstep. This is a remarkably long video. And just let you all enjoy the racing at night to see what difficulties I had. Like I say, I have cut up this stint quite remarkably. You do get a few solid laps at a time until it cuts. I'll pop back to you when we're back in the pits again, coming out for the final stint, just to say hello, more than anything, and continue with the shout-outs. There's many more to give, and I am a man of my word. Well, at least I held it kind of there. At least I held it, kind of. But anywho, I'll be back to you briefly next time we're in the remarkably long pit lane. I'll speak to you soon, guys. Well guys, as promised, I am back. Now we're in the pits for the final few shout-outs, of course. Trainers of the Sky over here on Two Road Gamers. Absolute classic, typical Bob. Picks the finest games. I'd definitely get over there. Well, just go to the description below. I'll have the link in there. It's fucking brilliant. You need to go and see it. And don't forget Inside, over on Less Than Marv. Another one of Bob's absolutely epic series. Only 6 episodes, start to finish. Definitely recommend it. It's fantastic. It's encouraged me to buy the game, put it that way. Found it very intriguing. Very intriguing indeed. And so here we are back in the pits. Very, very boring. Well, look at that. I didn't add the fuel, so I stopped shortly short, given that I was so far in front still at this point. A couple of laps in the lead, I believe. Quick little pause there, as you can see. Not sure why I paused it. Well, anywho, we came straight back to it. I could have cut that out, but honestly, I can't be bothered. Oh, yes, I remember. I'm trying to figure out if I can save it. Well, shame on you. Shame on you, the developers of this game. Why on earth can't I save it at this point? Look at the timer on the top. As you can see, I'm quite far into the race now. Quite far in. You know, I don't want to say I'm too much of a coward, but I was racing this at night. So it was about midnight at this stage. I didn't really want to continue, if I'm perfectly honest. I did consider just pausing the game, leaving the PC on, but it would have gone into sleep mode. I'm not sure what sort of impact that would have had on the game. And I wasn't overly comfortable taking sleep mode off and leaving the PC on overnight while I slept. You know, not very green. In an era of green, seems very, very poor. Anywho, I'll keep waffling on just to keep you company while we watch this remarkably long pit stop. I wanted to show it just to show you just how utterly boring it actually is. Now, I did remember to get some fuel in, and you can see there, just down at the bottom of the screen, you can see the stints the driver had pulled. It's just to the right of the main bit on the left. I'm sure that was a fucking appalling description, but as you can see at this point, I had started chopping and changing between the drivers just to bring down how much time they still had to get into the race. Looking at it though, it looked like it was physically impossible, but I think it just knocks more off than you realise as you're driving around. I think it's based on laps. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. Anywho, it was going just fine. I was racing well. All was good. I was feeling comfortable in the car. It's just a shame I couldn't pause it because I was getting tired. I'm not going to lie, I was getting remarkably tired. Now, throughout the pits, I started to realise if I just kept it going quick, I could probably just drive through this chap. Very odd way of conducting the game while it's in the pit stop. The fact that you can't crash into any other car, you can only drive through them. Now I think I may go for it here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to drive straight through this guy like he's not even there. Fuck you, friend, I'm pulling out in front, I don't want to get stuck in traffic. Well, there you go. There you go, look at that. Just morphed straight through. Fantastic game development. See, what should have happened is crash into him, get some... here we go, the exit from this pit. I did enjoy it so much, so much. The car was bouncy and wobbly. Oh, like there, I should have cut that out again. I shouldn't let you see the bits where I fuck up, but I do. I do. You know, warts and all that. I want you to see it all. Anywho, I'm going to fuck off again, let you all, you know, listen to this, watch the game, enjoy the music. Look how fucking dark it is now. And I'll come back to you towards the end of this just to say, you know, fond farewell. As you can see, the lights start to flicker as I brake heavy as well. I'm not sure if that's just an error with the game, or if that's something I'm going to start getting used to. Well, I had to get used to it. It started happening quite a lot. I'm curious if that's something to do with damage that I've done to the car. All I'm doing at this point is really hoping that we get back to sunrise. Very difficult, no racing line, and no idea where I'm going. Well, I was used to the circuit, but obviously once it turns dark, you can't see what's down the road. You're trying to do the entire thing by memory. It's almost muscle memory, trying to just keep that sequence on the wheel. Now, I was impressed with the Logitech on this as well. I did enjoy using it. It seemed very, very connected to the car. Now, I say that without ever using a different one. I do intend to try and use a Fanatec one, but I don't want to go, you know, full balls in. I watched a bit of Jimmy Broadbent, that was very good fun. In there he was talking, it wasn't his usual show, I don't think it was actually on his channel, I think it was another chap, Mark Priestley or something like that from the F1 commentary team. It doesn't work there anymore, I think he was, I'm not sure if it was fired or left, you know, I haven't read it. Anywho, on there, Jimmy Broadbent was talking about the direct drive, and how if you had it on full it could probably break your arm. Now that sounds intriguing, but remarkably expensive, and it seemed like it was a lot of work to set it up. Now I'm quite handy with the hardware. Not very good with going through settings, tends not to just, you know, just to miss the most basic of things. Anywho, I'm waffling again. I'll go, I'll let you enjoy the racing and the music. I'll put Death of the Dynamo on as soon as I finish speaking, just because I genuinely like it. And if you've made it this far, you've earned it, friends. You've earned it. Right, well, I'll speak to you at the end of the video. Farewell, guys, farewell! Well, the eagle-eared among you may be wondering why I'm coming back to you so soon. As you can see, I am in fact going into the pits, but I said at the end of the race. Now check this shit out. I just tapped it, and there's a car just going through me and I got stuck in here. This felt like Austin Powers. I think it was the spy who shagged me. I'm not sure which of the films it was, but this is definitely what happened in there, and he had to do a 95-point turn. However, I could just not get out of this. As you can see, with the way I'm just hammering the gears and then the throttle to the floor, I was remarkably frustrated. I think there's about an hour in the racing to go, maybe slightly less, and it just completely got me. So, fond farewell, my friends. Fond farewell.